calms the storms and takes our cares and make you light as a feather. If you know that he's got no high, then go ahead, put your hands together, stand on your feet, give him a shout, tell the world that he reigns forever.
The seed that he said or says it will grow in you, and it develops you into the tree that will bear the fruit that he wants. When he plants the seed in you, listen, it causes you to grow. It grows in you and develops you into the tree that will bear the fruit that he's looking for. Now we know in Scripture that the Bible compares men to trees as well. You shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. The blind man, Jesus put the mud on his eyes, and he said, can you see? He said, I see men that look like trees. He said, well, go wash your eyes in the pool of Siloam now. So he saw men that look like trees. So the Bible references, it gives examples or references men with trees. So you must become the tree that can bear the fruit that God is looking for in the earth realm, because he's already got it in the spirit. He already knows what he wants. He's already enjoying the finished product, but he plants the seed in you so that what he has in the spirit can be manifested here in the earth realm, in the natural, so that the world can benefit from what he already has in the spirit. That's what it means for his kingdom to come and his will to be done in earth as it is in heaven. Because he already has it settled in heaven. It's already established in heaven. We just need for it to manifest down here. Y'all still all right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Listen to this. This is key. Very important. External circumstances do not affect the growth of the seed of God, as such as weather and other conditions affect the natural seed. So external conditions do not affect the growth of the seed of God. Like the weather outside will affect the weather and conditions affect the growth of a natural seed. His seed is incorruptible. When God plants something in us, he says, this is what I want you to become. Do you realize that God will call you and cause you to become that in the most adverse conditions? That's how he gets glory. We sit around and we wait for everything to be right. I can't do that yet. No, I can't do that now. And God is trying to push you to do it. Now, all before, you wanted to do it, and God was trying to hold you back. No, you ain't ready. And you pushing and kicking, you trying to get there, and God doesn't. You ain't ready. You ain't ready. Get up. Then, when you get to the point where you've settled yourself down, you've got humbled by the process and realized that you ain't all that in a bag of chips, and now God is telling you to do it, you're saying, I can't do that. You're saying, no, Jesus, I don't even think I want to do that no more. And so, process will do something to you. Process will change your mind, I'm telling you. It'll change your mind. And so now, God can do something with you now because you're not trying to do it yourself. You don't think you can do it now. But now he needs you to trust in his ability, in his power, and not your own. Whereas before you were running, you were trying to do it in your own strength. You were trying to do like Moses. I'm going to kill these folk off, God. Boy, everybody know what happened? For real? Moses took off. Moses was in hiding. 40 years later. 40 years later, he can't fight like he did that day. 40 years later, now he's got to fight a different way. God says, now I brought you to the end of your own strength. Now rely on my strength. Pick up that stick. Let me show you what we're going to do together to make this thing happen. Let me show you what we're going to do. Everybody say this. His grace is sufficient for me.
His grace is sufficient for me.
For his strength.
For his strength
is made perfect.
Is made perfect
in my weakness.
In my weakness.
Therefore,
I
will glory.
I will glory
in my weakness.
In my weakness.
For when I am weak.
For when I am weak.
That's when I'm strong.
That's when I'm strong.
Because it's his strength.
Amen.
You start thinking you're strong, oh, you're weak.
Oh, yeah.
You're weak. Because you rely on your own strength to do something God revealed. You can't even water the seed on your own. But you're trying to make the plant grow. Think about it. You can't even water the seed on your own, but you're trying to make the plant grow. It's got to be transformed. It's a transformation that has to take place. All right? Now, I want to show you a couple of things here. Catch this. I want to pass this around. I want you to look at that. I was looking up apples. I just like to deal with apples for some reason. I like apples and apple seeds because I understand potential, the potential in a seed. You know, when I look at an apple seed, I don't just see a seed. I see the potential to have a whole grove or a whole forest of apple trees. Because from one seed, you can actually produce an entire forest of apple trees over the course of time. Because one seed will grow into an apple tree that will bear multitudes of, multiple apples. Each apple has in it a number of seeds that can be taken and planted and grow more trees, and each tree will continue to bear year after year. And you can continue to grow and multiply. So when I see the apple, it just does something to me. Now on there, I think there's about 12 or so different types of apples. Is that correct? 12 of 13. 13 different types of apples on there. Now, I actually found, I saw a chart where there were actually 18, I saw like 18 different kinds of apples. Got it? 18 different kinds of apples. Can you imagine? 18 different kinds of apples. And now that one, it rates them from sweetest to the most tart. Yeah, some apples are sweet, some apples are kind of tart. Kind of, tastes kind of sour or tart. And so it starts and it goes around. Now, just take a look at it. Take a look at it. Different kind of apples, all right? Now, an apple tree can grow to about 25 feet tall. About 25 feet. An apple tree can grow to about 25 feet. All right? 25 feet tall. And they can live, for about 100 years, they say. They grow for about, to about 25 feet tall. And can you imagine that one tree living for 100 years and bearing every year bearing apples? How many apples it can produce? You got it? Now, looking at the size of the seed, you wouldn't think that a small seed, of course this is blown up, because apple seed is very small. You would not think that a seed that small would grow into a 25-foot tree. Sometimes we discredit the small things seen. God didn't call, you feel like maybe God didn't call you to do what you see somebody else do. Or maybe he asked you to do something and you feel like, well, my little bit doesn't matter. Look what, T.D. Jakes is doing, or look what, Creflo Dollar is doing, or look what somebody else is doing. You see these people on TV doing all these great things and whatever, and you feel like maybe your little bit doesn't matter. But look at what one small seed can produce. And over what period of time? Over a period of time, how many people can be blessed from it? Do what you were called to do. Be who you were called to be. All right? But from revelation to manifestation, this does not just automatically become this. You got it? This came from somewhere. This sapling came from somewhere. It came from that seed. You plant the seed. The seed grows into a sapling. The sapling grows into a tree, and the tree eventually produces fruit. Why can't we get that in our heads as people in the body of Christ? Nothing happens overnight. Your dream is real. It's genuine. But it's not going to just happen instantaneously. God has to develop you into the person that can carry out what he said. Can you imagine? Think of yourself 10 years back. Just think of just think of how you were 10 years ago. Just 10 years ago. Don't go too much further back. Because you were probably still saved at that time. Most of us. You were saved 10 years ago, maybe. All right? 10 years ago. Just think about it. You were saved and you were still a mess compared to where you are now. You got it? So, what you thought you could do or be or wanted to do at that time, if God had released certain things into your hands at that time, imagine what you would have done with it. I tell people all the time, you can take a man out of the ghetto and put him in the palace. But before long, the palace is going to look like the ghetto because he wasn't changed before he went there. You got to change. You got to be transformed in order to carry out the purpose in the new place. Otherwise, you're going to do in the new place the same thing you were doing in the old place because you didn't change. You went straight from the revelation and jumped right into the manifestation, which you manifested on your own.
This is how we do church.